Hey there, I'm Keenan Fry, and you're watching the Acid Drip. So, today's kind of exciting. This is sort of part of a new series that I've been working on. So, those of you who have followed my channel since 2017 know that normally I cover things in the realm of music and arts. You know, I worked for a bunch of music festivals, did interviews with some pretty big name artists like Clean Bandit, Closey, and a number of other artists as well. Did some stuff with the Knox and Lewis the Child, Smoke Dizza, and so forth. I have a lot of those interviews still on ice, and I'll be pulling those out over time. What's kind of preceding all that is this new series, which is going to be about visual impairments. I've been talking about this since 2019, give or take. You know, I started to transition into a master's program around that time. I first tried to apply for the English department for the CSETs for English, to be an English teacher, and then I moved on to doing special ed. And that all, of course, was after exploring other avenues for graduate studies. So again, I've been talking about this since 2019, and now it's finally come to the time where I'm in the middle of my coursework at San Francisco State for the Department of Special Education, and particularly I'm doing visual impairments. My credential will be for orientation and mobility. My master's is in special ed. So this is interesting because this is the first sort of introductory video. So the series is going to talk about cable safety, plug safety, electrical safety, but it's going to do so from a visually impaired perspective. You know, those of you who typically come to my channel to look for art updates and, you know, various music projects that I'm working on, this is very much in synchronicity with that, because this job that I'm going for, becoming an orientation and mobility specialist, is going to enable me to continue the pursuit of my artistic career. I had the good fortune of doing a lot of work all the way through 2018 in the music industry, but it became clear to me that that career was not sustainable, which is why I've moved in this direction. And I've spent the better part of, well, 2018 I was applying for different departments and preparing for different tests, but really 2019 I honed in on special education. So this has really been 2 years in the making. Without any other delay, I'm going to just kind of outline some stuff. Like I said, we're going to talk about power chords. Not those kinds of power chords. Yeah. Yeah, no, not those kinds of power chords. And we're going to talk about cable and plug safety, and I'm going to teach you the hammer trick. So all of that, and if things go a little bit further, I'll talk to you about the Klein Tools voltmeter, and if I'm able to, I will get my uncle, kind of like father, or not father-in-law, would it be godfather? He is a electrician, and then we might be able to do an actual video series on panels with an electrician present, which would be really helpful. Before I go into any of the actual technical stuff, though, I do need to put out a disclaimer. I am not a licensed electrician. Nothing in this video or video series or anything on my channel or website should be construed as any formal advice for handling electrical equipment. Again, I am not a licensed electrician. You should seek out and consult an actually licensed electrician, someone who, you know, really knows their stuff, because when you play around with electrical, you can get hurt. We're going to talk about some common misconceptions. For example, how you can have a live neutral wire, which seems kind of like contradictory that you could have a live neutral, but that does happen. And we're going to talk about faulty wiring in homes and in apartments. Again, this is from a blind, visually impaired perspective, so this isn't necessarily how to address those issues, but how to diagnose them in a very generalized manner, and then to know, roughly speaking, what your problem is, and then how to go and find an electrician and effectively communicate with that electrician and convey to them what your problem is. So We're not going to be doing any electrical work, but what we are going to be doing is figuring out from a very generalized perspective what's happening, and then we're going to discuss some kind of terms and basic ideas that will give you the means of self-advocacy. And self-advocacy is really important in the blind, visually impaired community because a lot of people think these folks are helpless and they're not. And the point of this video is to demonstrate that. And this is all just kind of generalized knowledge that should really be useful for anybody who wants to actually have some electrical safety competence. Again, this isn't going to make you an electrician. This isn't any kind of legal advice or electrical advice. It should not be construed in any way. But what this should do is help you protect yourself. So thank you for watching this introduction. I know it was a little bit longer than intended, but I had to lay a lot out. If this goes over well, I'll be continuing this series with other aspects because, this is obviously part of my career. So I'll be talking about other aspects of, labeling things with bump dots, using Braille labelers, and just general O&M techniques. I plan on making a whole series later on about cane techniques once I actually have my O&M credential completed because, I think it's something that's kind of fun. So with that, thanks for watching. I'm Keenan Fry, and here come the tutorials.